Hello and welcome to this month's Mobility Flow. You're going to start with a yoga mat and be turning your head in a slow and controlled manner from side to side. What I really want you to focus on is stretching those long muscles in your neck. And then begin to tilt your ear to your shoulder, again going side to side. Really making sure that you're not over stretching or pushing past a point of discomfort. You should be able to find a comfortable stretch without it being painful. Then begin to have slow head circles. Go in one direction, taking special care to not hyperextend when you're in the back position. Letting that head kind of gently move in a circular motion. And then changing direction. Then reach those arms out. And you're going to alternate having one palm up and one palm down. Again, just really focusing on getting a good stretch through your arms. You can begin to lift the feet and move your hips as well. Trying to make sure that you keep that neck in an elongated position as well. Then begin to circle your wrists. Same thing, about 10 circles in one direction and then change directions. Then taking a hold of your wrist, pulling the fingers back and beginning to get a good stretch in that forearm. Tucking the fingers down, you should feel another stretch. Switching sides. And then with fingers down. My dog is there for entertainment in the background. Reaching up with that right arm, grabbing that left elbow to get a good tricep stretch. And then switching sides, using that left arm to grab that right elbow. And again, getting a tricep stretch on the opposite side. So then we're going to come down into this kind of a dynamic body weight squat. You're going to just be shifting your weight back and forth on your feet and trying to kind of get comfortable, figure out what a comfortable distance apart it is for your feet to sit in a body weight squat, and just kind of use your body weight to kind of help open up your hips and stretch out your ankles a little bit. And then you can use those elbows to push those knees apart, keep that torso upright, and get comfortable in that position. And then stretching up, allow those hamstrings to kind of gradually lengthen. Again, you can shift your weight from side to side and just get comfortable in that hamstring stretch. And then once again, straightening back up. So now we're going to start doing some hip openers. So we're going to start going in one direction first. So balancing on your left leg, opening that right hip, doing 5 in one direction, and then reversing it. These are controlled, articulated range of motion with your hips. You may find that one side moves better and more freely than the other. I made the mistake of starting with my good side. You'll have one side that's a little bit more challenging. Range of motion might be a little bit more restricted. You might have a little more trouble balancing. Same thing, 5 in one direction, and then going back in the other direction. And if you need a little more assistance with balance, you can always let your hands kind of free flow. Again, really focusing on making sure that you control that range of motion. Then coming back down to that dynamic squat again, shifting your weight around and getting comfortable in that bottom position. And again, straightening up into that hamstring stretch. If you have any pets, entertain them in the meantime as well. Use those elbows to help push those knees apart and just comfortably sit in the bottom of that squat. So now we're gonna alternate legs. First opening up. And then reversing the direction again. Then coming to sit in a deep squat again. Once again, using your body weight, sit comfortably in that squat. All right, coming down into a seated position, we're gonna work on ankles a little bit. So you're gonna do some ankle circles, 10 of them in one direction. And then changing direction. And we're even gonna be doing a little bit of mobility work with our toes as well. So you can ditch your socks if you have any, and then interlace your fingers in between your toes. And we're actually going to use that grip, or you can use the hand behind the toes as well. And you're gonna interlace and then pull those toes back. We wanna actually just get a stretch between the toes and then across both the bottom of the foot and the top of the foot. And there's the top of the foot. And then switching sides. Once again, ditch that sock. Same thing, starting with those ankle circles. Going in one direction and then changing direction. Again, interlacing your fingers with your toes. First, starting with the toes back to get a stretch through the bottom of the feet. And then pulling them in the opposite direction to get a good stretch across the top of the feet. And then here, coming into a little wider than your usual squat, getting comfortable in this position, really focusing on sitting upright, opening up that chest and using those elbows to get comfortable there. And then you can gradually begin to walk your feet in and straightening up. Coming down to a half kneeling position. What I really want you to focus on, think about having your abdomen zipped up. What we want to avoid is having like our tummy sticking out, kind of being hyperextended in that low back. So you want to think about squeezing your glutes and driving that hip forward to get a good stretch in the front of that hip flexor, and also keeping that core engaged. Same thing, switching sides. Once again, keeping everything engaged, not allowing anything to hang out kind of loosey-goosey while we're doing this stretch. Then coming down to hands and knees. and then a laying position. So here we're going to focus on some diaphragmatic breathing. So this is going to be a little unusual and uncomfortable for some people, but what you are focusing on here is breathing into your belly, breathing into your diaphragm, and just taking 10 slow and controlled deep breaths. The goal here is to just be present, focus on your breath, focus on relaxing, and hang out here for a little bit. Really focus on that diaphragmatic breathing, and you should feel your whole body rising up off the mat with each breath that you take. Take your time with this, don't rush it. Continuing to hang out here and just focus on your breath. Then pushing up, you're going to push back to a down dog position. So here the biggest focus is going to be on really opening up those shoulders, stretching those hamstrings. You can use it as a dynamic position and shift your weight around to get a little bit more comfortable with that stretch. And then what we're going to do is actually roll through that upper back and come into an active plank. And then push back to your down dog. And you're going to repeat this flow a few times. Just really focusing on being able to move well through those shoulders and flow from a down dog back into an active plank. And then walking your feet forward, slowly rolling up. Kick a ball for your dog, do a funky dance, and you've completed your mobility flow. Thanks so much for joining me.